Aloha, everyone. So, I had the urge to stop and take a moment to meditate on communication and how much of a factor it plays in our lives. And we need it pretty much to balance our life, right? When you go to work, you got to be able to communicate. When you sell something, you have to be able to communicate. You got to be able to tell them what you do about you, an offer, whatever it is. You have to be able to communicate that in a certain way that basically everybody's going to understand, and action will be taken. So today I'm going to tell you like a little bit about my struggles with communication and some of the things that I've done to help alleviate the situation, and if you can use it, that's what it's here for. So, when I say communication and how to communicate with people, I'm talking about like people that haven't practiced personal development. Okay, what I mean by that is they don't meditate, they don't really know who they are, they always have a negative outlook on life, always being a smart ass or just something. They don't think for themselves unless they have to. I'm talking about those type of people and communication with them, because it's hard when you do personal development on yourself and not everybody's on the same page, and you don't know how to approach them anymore because you don't want to be negative. But the truth is, we communicate in a lot of different ways, whether it's the tone of our voice, whether it's our body language, all kinds of things. So, sorry, I'm looking at my notes here. The one thing I want you guys to kind of think of when it comes to communicating is, bottom line, no matter what you're doing, okay, whether you're trying to run your family, your work, your business, whatever it is, you're going to have to be able to communicate to them what you need from them. So like your kids, when they're learning something, right? You have to break it down very simple by detail. What you want, why you expect it, and so on, right? I mean, that's how we were taught how to do it. Um, Now, I'm not saying that you gotta like go with the flow and deal with the negative, because you have to know when things are negative, when it's not your negativity, when it could be somebody else's, and things along those lines. Because I was like, shit, why do I keep getting this same feeling like I'm not good enough, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that? Like, what can I do to better my communication with my spouse or my family or whatever it is? So, the truth is, you get yourself reflected back to you from other people. So if you're not sure what I'm talking about, is if somebody treats you a certain way, are you treating them that way? If they're not seeing the bigger picture, you're not seeing the bigger picture, you're not on the same level. So I'm going to give you an example, a couple of miscommunication haps that have happened in our household that we have communicated about and tried to fix it. So I'm going to give you an example of, my husband hates to wash dishes. Like, he just hates it. And he hates it because he used to be a dishwasher. Okay, so I understand. You hate doing dishes. Okay, I like to clean the house. I used to have it a perfect certain way, but having a family, we all know you have to give and take your battles. And that's kind of what I'm teaching my family right now. But anyways, I do the dishes. Me and my sister have an agreement. Okay, we're going to do the dishes. And what is the one thing that we hate to do? We hate to take out the trash. Okay, so I told my husband, if you don't ever want to do dishes again, you're going to have to take out the trash and the recyclables every day. And we're not going to remind you about it. Okay? And so that's one example. But I didn't specify, okay, that when you take out the trash, you should probably put a bag in when you're done, so that way nobody else starts to throw rubbish in there. What rubbish is trash. And then complain that it has to be dumped into a bag later on because the task wasn't completed. Now, I always put a bag for my husband, but it just drives me crazy. Like, I'm like, why can't you just complete it and put the bag? I don't understand. I don't halfway wash dishes, right? So he's just like, I don't know. I don't like putting the bag. Well, sometimes there's just things that you got to compromise, right? Pretty much. So, if we wouldn't have gotten down to this situation, right, where we didn't communicate about it, we would have probably walked around all pissed off, like, you don't do enough around here. Oh, well, I'm always working. And it could have gotten like so bad, so worse, so out of hand, and I understand that's how people get divorced and shit like that because they don't communicate. Another example, dinner rotation. Just because I'm the sister and the wife doesn't mean I should be in the kitchen all the time. That is not my strong point. I dislike with a passion cooking all the time. Like if I have to do it once in a while, I can do that. I'm good at that. But to have me think every single day for 4 weeks what we're going to eat, like that's mentally draining in itself, like to me. But my husband, he's super good at cooking. He's an awesome cook because he used to cook for the restaurants. So he knows what he's doing. And when you just see him in there working, it's just like, oh, you know, that I appreciate. Like he had to learn to appreciate, hey, I don't cook. I'm trying. If it comes out shitty, my bad. At least I tried. At least I'm trying to do things for my family and expand my vision. So a part of that is definitely communication. Um, Another example of that, we had a miscommunication with my sister's school. Now that could be something scary for some people because education, that has to do with your kid and it can go into so many different directions, right? Basically, I felt that they weren't paying attention to my sister and listening to what she had to say, and she was trying to communicate that to them, but they weren't listening. So me as her sister and legal guardian, I had to defend her. I felt in my heart I need to speak up and say something. And so my husband and I both felt the same way, and we both communicated about it, and we both went into the school and talked to them about their lack of communication and how we were there for the last couple years just to pay attention to her. So the fact that we were in there for the number of times and they didn't communicate to each other that, hey, if something happens with this kid, we want to be called, we will be down here right away. Okay. That was their mistake. I'm not going to let my sister walk around feeling like she wasn't supported because that's not what we're teaching them, right? So I had to communicate to the principal, look, you guys didn't do a very good job in, investigating. You jumped to a conclusion and treated her like she was guilty and then proved she was innocent. And when she asked you to call me, you disregarded her request. Why? Okay, and that's another thing. You got to think why. Why am I doing this? Why am I communicating? What am I trying to build? Okay, so if you're one of those people that are just like, I used to be, not used to be, because sometimes I still get sad, depressed or whatever. Because you're just like, does anybody see me? Is anybody there? You forget about the things that I don't do when I stop doing them. But do you remember the things that I do for you when you're not paying attention? That's still communicating that I love you, that I want to take care of you. That's my way of communicating to you. But if my family doesn't understand that, forget it. They're just going to be like, oh, sister just wants to clean and work all the time. She never wants to have no fun. No, I want us to be responsible and follow through with whatever it is, complete the task, and just take responsibility for yourself. Because that ultimately is what this life is about, okay? And having fun. So, communication, find your voice, no matter what it is. If it's with your spouse, your family, your work, the schools, friends, anybody, okay? You are a person, you live your life, you don't judge them, okay? You don't tell them, you question them. If they're coming to you with a problem, question them, because when you question somebody, you make them ultimately think about why they're mad. why they're upset, where they could have been wrong, right? And you don't even got to really do anything. So that's one of my ways that I communicate is I'm constantly asking why. Why this? Why that? Why did this happen? What's the lesson behind it? Because there's always a lesson behind something. If you don't learn your lesson, it's going to keep coming up and up again over and over. And then you're like, well, why is my life like this? Well, because you're not learning your lesson. You're not being appreciative. You're not communicating. You're not talking. You're not expressing yourself. So, my advice to you, know your why. Okay? Once you know your why, you'll be able to communicate what you want, when you want it, how you want it, and things are just going to change from there. So, all right, guys, I'm going to get back to work and I'll see you later. Bye.